Joan Rivers. Wait. Wait a minute. I just need to fix my hair real quick. I need to put on some fake jewelry and I need to spritz myself with my Madonna cheerleader fragrance. Because if I'm gonna make a video about Joan Rivers, I need to look good, smell good, and feel good. Because Joan Rivers looked good, smelled good, felt good, and was fabulous. And if Joan Rivers were alive right now, she would say that Chelsea Handler is a cunt. Why would Joan Rivers say Chelsea Handler is a cunt? Well, more on that in a little bit. But first, in fact, a very famous quote that Joan gave said that she attributed her success to the fact that she just said what everybody was thinking. I must say, I would not personally say that Chelsea Handler is a cunt because Perez Hilton doesn't say things like that anymore, but Joan Rivers would say things like that, and she would say things like that and did until the very end. In fact, she had a comedy show the night before she went in for that endoscopy procedure. And she was unapologetic, and she was fearless, and she was fabulous, and she was somebody I truly adored and cherished and was an inspiration. In some ways, Joan Rivers was the original Perez Hilton, only she had something that I don't. Talent. I mean, maybe I have a little bit of talent. Joan Rivers had that much talent. While Joan had this much talent, she had that much heart. She was one of the most kind-hearted, generous people I have ever met, and genuinely nice. One of the things I've loved seeing in the wake of Joan's passing is the personal photos that my friends have posted on their Facebook walls of them with Joan. Just normal friends, non-celebs, non-industry people. That tells you a lot about the kind of person Joan Rivers was. Joan Rivers was working in entertainment her whole life. She began in the 50s and was working till in her 80s. She worked till the very last minute. She was in the headline till the very last minute. What other entertainer in their 80s would get talked about as much as Joan Rivers? No one. Joan Rivers was in her own lane, in a class of her own. And Joan Rivers was like a phoenix. Joan Rivers was the original Madonna. She kept reinventing herself over and over and over again, from comedian to actress, back to comedian, to talk show host, to red carpet correspondent. She did everything. She sold jewelry. She did internet shows. She hustled, she grinded, and above all else, she was an amazing mother, an amazing grandmother, and an amazing humanitarian. Friends of mine would go to Joan's house every Thanksgiving because she would welcome so many people into her home. And they would always have Thanksgiving dinner late because earlier in the day, Joan would go around every year and feed the homeless. And not for a photo op, but because of the kindness of her heart, she thought that was the right thing to do and it would make her feel better to help others. That's shit we should all be doing. We should all be more like Joan Rivers. Because you know what? Once you stop caring what other people think of you, you live a much more fabulous life. I have so many cherished memories of Joan. I was lucky enough to spend a lot of time with her, to be welcomed into her home, to be on her reality show with her daughter Melissa. Joan and Melissa championed me. Joan was one of my biggest cheerleaders, and that means more to me than I could ever say. To have her think that I am somebody cool? She said Joan and Melissa thought I was a big deal, and that's a big deal to me. Joan transcended entertainment. She really became one of those people who could be known just by their first name. When you say Joan, who comes to mind? Not Joan London, Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers will live forever, because legends never die. And she truly was and is a legend, an icon, and an inspiration. Oh, wait, you didn't think I'd forget about Chelsea Handler, right? One of the things that I loved about Joan Rivers is that she pissed off a lot of people, and she did not give a fuck. And even some of those same people that Joan Rivers pissed off recently were rooting for her and sending public messages of support. One of those people, Rihanna. I don't know if you remember or not, but Joan and Rihanna got into a very heated Twitter exchange a couple of years ago. Rihanna said some not so nice things about Joan after Joan made a joke about her and Chris Brown. But a couple of days ago, Rihanna sent out this tweet urging her fans to pray for Joan. Somebody who didn't send out a tweet like that was Chelsea Handler. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Chelsea Handler and Joan were not very friendly the last couple of years. If Joan were around today, she would say that Chelsea Handler fucked her way to the top, which a lot of people would say is true, because Chelsea Handler was dating the president of E before she got her talk show. True story. Chelsea was boinking Ted Harbert. Google that shit, because I don't make shit up. So what was the cause of the fallout between Joan and Chelsea? Well, Chelsea was talking about being the only woman to host late night. Joan Rivers did it before her. Joan publicly reminded Chelsea of this, and after that, the two were on the outs. But Rivers recently ran into Chelsea at an event. True story, I only speak the truth. Google this. Joan went up to Chelsea to try and make nice, and you know what Chelsea Handler did? She walked away. Now, Joan Rivers is dead, but she lives on. And in the spirit of Joan Rivers, I say, Chelsea Handler, fuck you, bitch. And to all of Joan's family and friends, my thoughts are with you. I send you love. I send you strength. I send you positive vibes. I hope you feel it. Now, let's all go watch her documentary. Let's all go watch her stand-up. And let's all go celebrate the fabulous Joan Rivers. Mwah!